by downtown Los Angeles on 5th Street. All the winos affectionately refer to it as the nickel. So this is kind of a hobo's lullaby. The sticks and stones can break my bones, but always will be true. When your mom was dead and gone, I'll sing this lullaby just for you. But what becomes of little boys never comb their hair? They're lined up all around the block. They're on the nickel and over there. And if you chew tobacco, wish upon a star, and find out where the scarecrows sit. And man, they just look like punchlines between the cars. And I know a place where a royal flush can never beat a pair. Even Thomas Jefferson is on the nickel, is over there.
So intense, man.
So ring around the rosy, sleeping in the rain.
Some people that get here.
You're always late for supper, and you let me down again. But I thought
the genius of Tom Waits. Absolute fucking genius. So where will you be when they come for you? Where will you be when the police and the totalitarians and the oligarchs step over the line and come for you and drag you down? Come knocking on your door. It starts off in the street. It starts off, sadly, with mostly poor people, mostly the vulnerable, who get the initial brunt end of the experimentation by police to keep you separate from others, to protect you, of course. That's what we're going to talk about today, right? The ramping up of police aggression. The unjustified ramping up of police aggression against citizens for, being too close to one another, for disobeying the governor's law. I'll talk mostly about New York, a little California, because that's where it's going down. But so I'll play some of those videos and shit. Check it out. Check it out. Morning, everybody. Just wait for some people to get here while we listen to the genius of Tom Waits. Love this guy, man. One instrument, one voice. That's how you do it. Fascinating. So, thank you, Tom Waits. Thank you, Tom Waits. We'll come back to Tom Waits. We'll come back to Tom Waits in a second, man. So Mark Conte reporting. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Everybody in the house. We got her poopers here. Who else is here? We got SG Commander. SG Commander is here. JJ, Mike, Chris Mike is here. Martin Gafrada, Willie Dig, George's son. Vinny D. Martini on the ranch. What's up, motherfucker? Aaron Brooks, George's son. I said you twice, mate. So welcome everybody. Kingfish, Voodoo, Vonderloo, Yoga Fish. What's up, Yoga Fish? Carol Hayes in the house. Carol Hayes is here. Mike G75, and Jerry Fleming. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Good morning, everybody. So we'll talk a little bit about the ramping up of police aggression. It is a concern when it happens. You got to call it out. You got to look at it. You got to say, hey, look, because what happens is you're over there. You're saying you're over here looking over there, saying, ooh, look, the police are starting to crack heads. But that's the experimental version. That's how it starts. It starts with poor people. It starts with, drunks hanging out in front of a liquor store, and they get, and the police come over and try to beat them up. Or the example, and the earliest example that I found was in Washington Square Park, where police chiefs were harassing the chess players, the guys, the old black guys that sit around playing chess in the park. People with no power get attacked first. See, the uppity students paying $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year to go to NYU, and now they can't even go, but they're still paying their $5,000 rents in Manhattan. Those kids sitting on the lawn, hugging, kissing, and smoking the hookah and passing the bottle back and forth, right? Those kids are immune, right? The police won't interrupt them. So I am seeing sadly, a color, a socioeconomic focus, right, on maybe two homeless people sleeping too close together. Go after them. Give them a ticket. They won't fight back. So that's what police are. Police are cowards. Right? Police are fucking cowards when it comes to writing tickets. They don't want to do it. They know they have to. That's the deal, man. Police. Here's the deal. Right? I was a sanitation enforcement agent. I wore a uniform in the city of New York. I had a badge. I had a radio. I had and I walked around in a police uniform, a pseudo cop. I didn't have a gun, but because I had a uniform on, when you look like a cop, people treat you like a cop. Even the cops treat you like a cop. I forgot what I was going to say. Well, oh yeah, is the follow orders. That's what police are told to do. Follow orders. Know this. Know this about police. Don't get angry at the police. Shake your fists in anger at the police. There's some people that are ambitious about following orders. Police, they'll follow any order. They'll follow any fucking corrupt order that there is to follow. Oh, you want me to go crack that guy's head open? Sure, no problem. You want me to go write a ticket for this guy and find something? Yeah, no problem. I'll do it. That's what they do, and they get points for that. They get pat on the back. They get promoted. This guy did exactly what he was told to do. What did he do? It was illegal. It doesn't matter. He did what he was told to do. And those are the people that become captains and lieutenants and detectives, and those are the kiss asses, right? So the point is that if you don't do what you're told to do, police, if the police don't do what they're told to do, they put on a uniform. They boot up in the morning. They sit in the little room there, the boardroom. Every police before every shift, what happens is all the police gather in a room called the boardroom, right? And they sit down at the table. They're already in uniform. They're ready to go out. They're going to get their assignment. They're going to get. In my case, you used to get your radio, and you used to get your ticket equipment at that moment, and you would also get your car assignment. They throw keys around like it's fucking. Here's your key, right? And you take a squad car outside, right? And that's in that meeting, that's where they're told to follow. These are the orders of the day. You two guys right there, Officer blah blah blah, and Officer Jerkoff, and Officer Cocksucker. You two guys, you're going to drive around in the park and flash the lights, stay 6 feet apart. Now, I saw it yesterday. Just walking around in Brooklyn right here, I was going to call the police. I forgot to do it. And ask them what the fine is, but I found out it's a $500 fine. So I'm walking through the park that I always walk through, right? There's a lot of people out today yesterday because it was a sunny day and a lot of people are hanging out on the lawn. They're flinging frisbees, they're kicking kickballs. Kids are running around, dogs are having fun. Everybody's having a good time. Now, in a small little park, I passed three police cop cars with the red light blinking and the words flashing across, "Stay 6 feet apart." Now, I didn't observe anybody getting harassed or talked to, especially in this neighborhood, because it's a very, very white neighborhood, right? And it's very uppity neighborhood, and they're not going to be writing no fucking summonses, right? The police feel shame in doing that, but they show their presence. But they're following orders, is what I'm saying. And if the order is to write summonses for social distancing, they will do it. But they'll start again. They start at the most vulnerable people. They'll start at the homeless people. They'll start to, fuck around with, poor people or go to poor neighborhoods. The example I'm going to show today is they started, you're going to see a video of a guy getting tackled on Avenue D and 9th Street here over in the East Village. I'm going to go up there today and see if I can talk to anybody, try to find people that saw it or have been feeling the police presence in their fine neighborhood. Right? So before you do that, before we get into it, Marcus Conte in the morning. Here's my website, marcusconte.com. marcusconte.com. Truth, Marcus Conte reporting. Go over to my website. Click around, please. Hit the buttons. Hit every button, right? In the morning when you want to come to YouTube, instead of going to YouTube, go to my site and then go to YouTube, and then you'll get there, and it'll leave a trail, an electronic trail that says people are going to this site. It's just I need your help. I need your numbers to go around and just click on videos, because then Google sees that and then it finds you. And while you're here, you can hit a tip jar in the PayPal, or you can join Patreon. Thank you very much. A lot of people coming aboard. I appreciate that. We'll try to get the number up. I need 100. I need 100 Patreons. I think we got like 30 right now or something. And most networks have a lot of them. Most people that do what I do have a lot. So I have a low number. I'd like to get that number of Patreons up. Free book. Okay, so enough about me. So good morning, everybody. Good morning. We're going to talk about this, the big fuck you that we should be telling people. Are most people giving the big, the whopping middle finger to the establishment, or are they bowing over like, are they rolling over like cheap suits? Are they folding like cheap suits? Hold on a second. It's getting warm in here, man. It's getting warm. It's nice out, man. It's nice in New York. I'm going to head out the door, but I just wanted to do this. I wanted to do the live. I want to do it live. Do it live early in the morning just to get started. So let's start here. So FDA approves coronavirus antibody testing that boosts near perfect accuracy. You heard? And now let the money machine roll. Roche, Switzerland. The Food and Drug Administration have gave emergency approval to a COVID-19 antibody test that boosts near perfect accuracy, the company said Sunday. This is good news, right? I guess, right? Now they can check for the antibody, right? We should all line up, right? But it's probably expensive. You have to go to a doctor for this. It's intravenous blood whipping. You have to pull out vein blood to detect it. Swiss drug maker Roche said the new test, which determines whether someone had a past infection, has proven 100% accurate at detecting antibodies in the blood and 99.8% accurate at ruling out the presence of them. What's the difference? Oh, so you either proves that you had it. It doesn't even make sense. Whatever. So it's 99.99% chance that the shit is right? The company said the test requires intravenous blood draws with a higher accuracy than the finger prick test. The finger prick test. Got to be careful with that one. So finger prick is a little droplet of blood from your finger, as opposed to pulling blood out of your arm right from the vein. Ooh. The vein has more stuff in it than the prick in the finger. I thought blood is blood, right? Some blood has... What the fuck? That doesn't make sense either. If there's any medical people, you tell me. That sounds like a sales pitch. Finger prick has... The blood is blood, isn't it? If you take blood from a finger prick, you will never be able to achieve the same level of specificity that you will achieve when you take blood from the vein, said the head of the company. What about this? Why not? Why not? If the finger prick is 99% accurate or 98% accurate, and it's cheap, just give out 2 or 3 of them so people could do it themselves, and they save on the doctor visit. Right? That's what I would do. I'd rather finger prick twice and test positive than have to go get blood drawn from some vampire doctor and pay money for it, right? Or, you know what I'm saying? You have to have very, very high specificity. Even 0.1% or 0.2% makes a difference. This guy's a salesman, right? Schnickner said the tests are important steps in determining whether someone may have immunity, but acknowledges that more research needs to be done. Since the virus is not well known, one can hypothesize, but the proof will take longer, Snicker said. Schnickner. That was a fucked up name. Testing these people is key to seeing whether or not people really have developed immunity. He should have said, testing people is really the key to how we're going to make the most money. So it's a little bit of, it's kind of good news. The antibody test, we should all do it just for, shits and giggles. I would do it. If it was a finger prick and I could buy the kit, I'd buy it right now. I'd have it right now. I'd do it. I'll make a video of it. I'll do it online. I'll finger prick. I'll put the fucking thing on there, right? Whip it up and fucking mix it up and show the result, right? Are you pregnant or not? Like a pregnant test, right? It's pregnant. You're either pregnant, you piss on the tab, and you're either pregnant and you're not pregnant, right? You can't be a little pregnant. You either have pregnant, you're pregnant, or you're not pregnant. You either have COVID-19 or you're not, man. So what's up, everybody? Come on in, motherfuckers. I'm gonna try not to say motherfucker today. I can't guarantee that though. That's just that's a promise I might not be able to keep. So here's more disgusting news from the swamp, right? Pompeo. Right? These guys, I don't know why. I mean, it's kind of obvious in many respects why the swamp, Trump, Pompeo, and company, and Mnuchin, why they're trying to pin this whole thing on China without any evidence. They're trying to, and there is no evidence, right? They even, in this article, you'll see that Pompeo says enormous evidence shows, hold on a second. Oh man, I just squeezed a tube of crazy glue. I didn't mean ow. I mean ow, it's going to start sticking to my hands. I squeezed the thing of crazy glue and it spit out on my fingers. So now I can't touch the mouse for a second. Let it dry. So Pompeo says enormous evidence. I thought the CIA doesn't use evidence. Now they use evidence. Pompeo says enormous evidence shows coronavirus began in Wuhan lab. He said evidence. I didn't say evidence. What is evidence? If you ask that jackoff, you remember that other guy, the other CIA director, forgot his name already, but I don't do evidence. No, I don't do evidence. John, I can't remember the guy's name. I got a fucking mental block. But anyway, the CIA doesn't do evidence. They do propaganda. They do tradecraft. They do spycraft. They do conspiracy theory. That's what they do, right? And that's who Mike Pompeo is. I know he's the Secretary of State under Trump, but he was the CIA guy. He was the top spook for years. So Secretary of State, CIA Mike Pompeo said, enormous evidence exists indicating the coronavirus pandemic began in a lab in Wuhan. All right, let's see the evidence. Where's the evidence? Let's continue. China, and that the ruling Communist Party did everything it could to keep the outbreak under wraps. Quote, there's enormous evidence that that's where this began. We've said from the beginning that this was a virus that originated in Wuhan, China. We took a lot of grief for that from the onset, but I think the whole world can see now, he said on ABC News. Quote, remember, China has a history of infecting the world, and they have a history of running substandard laboratories. These are not the first times that we've had a world exposed to viruses as a result of failures in a Chinese lab. That's not evidence. That's bullshit. That's running your trap. Where's the evidence? After the first cases were reported in Wuhan in December, Pompeo said Beijing began a disinformation campaign that created enormous risk around the world. That's still not evidence. That's evidence of propaganda. That's no evidence of the origins of the leak, if it was a leak at all. China, this is just propaganda. This is classic CIA Pompeo propaganda. China behaved like authoritarian regimes do. They're authoritarian and we're not. You don't think that at this point you can, especially the theme of this video is about authoritarian regime cracking down on people's privacy, cracking down on people's distance from one another for alleged violations of some kind of social distancing rule that has no scientific basis whatsoever to enforce. None, zero. There's no evidence to suggest that staying 6 feet apart from somebody will keep you. There's no evidence for it, right? But that's evidence, and this. It's important to look at what Pompeo calls evidence, which is not evidence, which is propaganda. China behaved like authoritarian regimes do. All right, point out some. Attempt to conceal and hide and confuse. Isn't that what the CIA does, Mike? It employed the World Health Organization as a tool to do the same. These are the kind of things that have now presented this enormous crisis, an enormous loss of life, and tremendous economic cost all across the globe, Pompeo said. So, again, vilify China, take the mind off of Trump's administration so he gets reelected, take the mind off of the 6 large banks that are in the process of raping the country again, and again, stealing all the money, putting the money in their pocket, choking people out of a living, confining people to their own homes. Asked by host Martha somebody if he believed the virus was man-made. Asked by a host if Pompeo believed the virus was man-made or genetically modified. Pompeo cited experts saying it was man-made. Now that is not what the experts said. The experts said it was likely organic in nature. So there he lies. That's Pompeo lying, saying it was man-made. Right? So he lied on ABC, but that's nothing new for the CIA. That's what they do. So the host pointed out that the Office of the Director of National Intelligence said the scientific consensus is that COVID-19 was not man-made or genetically modified. Wow. Pompeo wasn't expecting that, for someone to actually call him out and say, no, it wasn't man-made. It was the intelligence, for lack of a better term, agency said that it was organic. So that's right. Now he changes. Now Pompeo flips. Oh, that's right. I agree with that. Yeah, I've seen their analysis. I've seen the summary that you saw and that was released publicly. I have no reason to doubt that is accurate, he said. Well, he just said that it was man-made. He just said it, and then he just said the opposite. These guys are so fucked up, man. And nobody calls this out. I'm glad the Post put it, but that should have been the headline. Pompeo lies again. Pompeo said it still hasn't been determined whether China initially released the virus or it was a lab accident. Again, he's saying that we have very strong evidence, and then he's confirming that they haven't determined it yet. That's called propaganda. That's called painting the tape. That's called telling a lie, throwing a big lie, throwing it against the wall and see if it sticks. Right? If you tell a big lie, 40% of the sheep in the country will believe it. I keep throwing it against the wall until people forget the truth. That's what they do. I don't like Pompeo. I think Trump used very bad judgment, was very much manipulated by these characters, and now he's the same because he allows them to do this. I think there's a lot to know, but I can say this. We've done our best to try and answer all of those questions. That's a nothing sentence. We tried to get a team in there. Okay, you tried. The WHO tried to get a team in there, and they have failed. Here's the most revealing line. No one's been able to go to this lab or any of the other laboratories. There are many labs inside of China, he said. This risk remains. So he's saying nobody was allowed in. So how do you have evidence? What? Fake whistleblowers? There's some pay-for-play doctor. Oh, I saw when I was there. No, I saw it. You don't have any evidence of any of this. So that's just a point to point it out. Is Pompeo a nice guy? No, here he is.
When I was a cadet, what's the cadet motto at West Point? You will not lie, cheat, or steal, or tolerate those who do. I was the CIA director. We lied, we cheated, we stole. It was like we had entire training courses. It reminds you of the glory of the American experiment.
I was the CIA director. We lied, we cheated, we stole. We had entire classes, entire training classes on lying and cheating and stealing. That's him in his own words. That's not us saying it. That's not me making it up. That's seeing the lie. There, he just lied. He said he's telling the nation on ABC from the seat of the of the Secretary of State, the Secretary of State position, and he lied. He told ABC News that it was man-made, that it was, and then backpedaled and said, no, I agree with the experts, it wasn't man-made, all based on no evidence. So do what you will with it. So as I said, thanks everybody for coming by. And we got some people here now. So cool. So the thing about this is this. Where do we draw the line on police intervention? Now, if you're watching this somewhere in the middle of the country, in the Midwest, maybe you're Sterling Price. Hey, Sterling Price is here. In Missouri, you're in a kind of a rural area, and you wouldn't have to deal with this. But when you put a lot of people together in a place like New York or California, L.A. or something, or Sacramento, wherever, and you jam people together, it's almost impossible to keep people 6 feet apart. To walk, you'd have to keep people 6 feet apart on a busy sidewalk. You'd have to make traffic lanes. You'd literally have to put 6 feet of distance between people going this way and people coming that way. It'd be virtually impossible to enforce a 6-foot rule in a busy city once opened. Impossible, in my view. I mean, in my whole life living here, there's just no way that you couldn't function. You couldn't get everybody to work in the trains and on the buses with a 6-foot rule. Impossible to get all those people. The rush hour's jammed with people, all right? Or carpooling. You can't have 2 people in a car sitting there. Come on. It's an unenforceable nonsense. But nonetheless, the NYPD is attempting to do it now, and they're doing it quite aggressively. I found out. Not in the prim and proper white neighborhoods, but let's go to the ghetto and let's start tasing motherfuckers. Right? Let's start shocking people into moving apart. And if they don't do it, we're gonna lock them up. We're gonna threaten them with $500 fines. We're gonna go knock on their door. So taser-wielding NYPD cop punches bystander during social distancing bust. Wow. A social distancing bust. NYPD officers continue to terrorize us amid the COVID-19 epidemic. So this video is disturbing, so just brace yourself for it. This cop is out of fucking control. Watch this. So it's just a day. It's Avenue D and East 9th Street. I know the area well. Across the street is the projects, bodega on the corner, liquor store looks like. And there's 2 cops they're roughing up 2 people for some reason. One of them is a woman. Tackling the guy. This fucking cop's got his knee on the guy's head. What did he do? You hear the girl screaming, and here comes the cop with a taser. You hear the taser initiating, right? He's initiating.
What are you flexing for?
He's shooting. What are you flexing for?
Look. He ain't even
man. This is NYPD.
He ain't even do nothing.
The guy had a mask. There's his mask on the ground. You see his mask on the ground?
He ain't even do nothing. He pussy. That nigga pussy.
It's out of control. Social distancing. That guy was a half a block away from that cop. The guy on the floor right now is a half a block away from the cop, and the cop rushed him for no reason. Because of words, the guy was cursing at him or holding the camera. So what? And here they come. And this is what always happens. The police always fucking win. Always win. That cop should lose his job, man. That video is very damning. That guy on the ground did nothing to deserve that. And certainly, why does he have his taser out? The guy is handcuffed. He's got his taser out. It's disgusting, right? And again, see the projects across the street? If you look up over the phone, you see you're right across the street from the housing projects. There's a lot of them. And it's mostly a minority neighborhood at certain hours. A lot of hipsters live there, but they're certainly not standing out on the street in front of the liquor store. Police are out of control, man. That is just absurd. Now, to the police's credit, we have seen quite a bit of. I've had personal interaction with police where they were very nice. They were handing out masks in the park, and when I was handed a mask, by the way, I just news for you, I was not wearing a mask. And I was sitting right next to a couple of musicians that weren't wearing masks either. So if the police wanted to write tickets in Washington Square Park, they could have certainly walked over and started issuing summonses. I don't think that the summonses will hold up ultimately. I certainly wouldn't pay it. I'd fight it to the Supreme Court level. There's no fucking way. Or you pay it, you appeal, and you appeal it all the way up to the Supreme Court. But nonetheless, overall, my observation, I have observed the police not doing this, but it is important to look when it starts to happen. Right? Now they're calling for May 14th or mid-May to shut all this off, all the social distancing shit. But this is rather disturbing. Right? So let's keep going. Dozens of summonses issued over social distancing violations in New York City parks. This is all yesterday. Beautiful sunny day. See, these are not NYPD. These are parks police. They're in Central Park. They're in various parks all around the city, and they're their own little force, their own little pseudo police force. No guns, but they do have. It looks like they have bats. I've never seen them beat anybody up. And they're usually very ignorant fucks that, you see them. So dozens of summonses issued. These guys, NYPD issues their own summonses. They issue a New York City police summons. And Parks issues ECB tickets. That's what I issued. When I was a sanitation enforcement agent, I had a uniform just like that. That's what I looked like, but I was in blue. I had a police uniform, the same colors that the police use. And actually my shirt was lighter. It was a little lighter than the police, but nonetheless, it was a fucking blue. I was dressed in blue. But they issue ECB tickets, which are extremely easy to beat. Extremely easy to beat. Right? So here's my advice to you. If you get one of these tickets, right? If you get one of these tickets, do not resist the police. That's stupid. Take the ticket, especially if it's in parks. Especially if it's in parks. Let them write the ticket. Give them all the information you want. It doesn't matter. Don't feel violated. Just take the ticket. And then immediately go down to the ECB office if you're in New York City and fight it. You go in front of a nice judge. You don't need a date. You just show up. I used to beat tickets all the time when I was a pedicab tour guide. I used to get tickets all the time for that, right? For stopping, for parking, for this, for that, for the other thing. I never paid a ticket. Never paid a single ECB ticket. Now, the NYPD tickets, that's different. But But if you get a parks ticket, don't fight them. Don't argue with them. Just have a nice day, and then just go down and tell the judge. Say, listen, I didn't see anybody near me, right? And these cops don't show up. That's the key. They don't show up. The parks enforcement, they're not there. So whatever you say, the judge is just going to go with it, and they throw the ticket out. So what are you fighting for? Don't fight it. If it's city, that's different. You take that ticket anyway, and then just go down and tell the judge, I didn't see anybody around me. Cop is just making it up. And if the cop shows up, it's whatever, right? Then you fight it all the way to the end. But don't resist. It's just frivolous. Just walk away. Right? So I got to give credit to Mr. Goodman, Mr. Jason Goodman at Crowdsource the Truth. He caught a gem, right? Trying to find footage of, because I wasn't there this day. For some reason, it was raining and I didn't show up. But let's look at fair use. This is fair use, right? I'm a reporter reporting, so don't strike the channel for no reason. I'm giving you kudos here, Mr. Goodman, about catching this clip of people being ejected from the park. It's good stuff. Watch.
I agree. He's being controlled. Why is the park being closed, officers? Why are we being disallowed to peacefully assemble?
Gatherings are prohibited by the governor's order, sir.
Governor's
Is that true?
It is true. Look it up yourself.
It's unconstitutional.
Are you a police officer?
I'm a police officer and I'm attorney for the police department.
You're a police officer and sorry, what?
If you're challenging court, you're being ordered to leave the park. That's your remedy.
Do you have a badge?
I don't. I'm a lieutenant. I don't have a badge number.
So how do I know you're a police
I'm
officer?
telling you, Lieutenant Gallagher, NYPD legal.
So you've just closed the park spontaneously?
Not spontaneously because you gathered by order of the governor.
Come on, you know they were going to do that to begin with.
Order of
That's
the
amazing.
governor.
That's astounding. And look, we've got the cops ready to come in here and beat people down.
Wow. And right there.
Whoa.
Look at that frame. Good job, man. Good job. Look at this. How many cops? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, dozen. 2 dozen cops. There's not even 20 people protesting in the park. 20 people doesn't validate a crowd. There's more people hanging out in Washington Square Park on one piece of grass. There's 20 people. Right? It's just, again, right? They're targeting people, right? They got the zip ties ready to go. Right? They got the zip ties ready to go. It's pretty good, man.
That's crazy. Guys, you got to be aware. This is against the First Amendment. You guys.
All right. Well, that's Goodman's opinion, but that's good footage. Let me turn the volume off. So you see the enormous police presence. They all got masks on. They're ready to follow orders. They're shutting down the park. All right. You heard the guy. It was good. That's good stuff, man. He caught them. He got the statement from the police saying that the governor's orders. What fucking governor's orders? What, to shut down a park? For what reason? For what reason? For gathering? There's only 20 people. There's more police. There's probably 100 cops and 20 protesters. You cops, get out of the park. You're causing the crowd. So anyway. So there's more. So social distancing and NYPD arrests, right? Again, I hate to say it, but they're targeting the lowest hanging fruit. And here we go again in a black neighborhood. Watch.
Has assigned hundreds of officers to enforce social distancing rules, responding to calls of overcrowding at stores, parks, and other gathering spaces. Mayor Bill de Blasio recently tweeted about Hasidic residents defying social distancing measures in Brooklyn after hundreds of mourners gathered for the funeral of a rabbi who died of coronavirus. NYPD can be seen standing by and using sirens to disperse the crowd. However, the consequences of people of color defying social distancing show a stark contrast in handling by the NYPD. This video surfaced of a young boy getting handcuffed and taken away for selling chips and candies on a train in the Bronx. And this video shows the arrest of 24-year-old Curtis Miller in Brooklyn.
Why y'all stopping? Why y'all stopping for? What are y'all stopping for?
I'm telling you, back
illegal.
up. Back up.
Illegal. Don't touch me.
Back up.
Miller cites his arrest was unwarranted.
When you watch the video, you can see, like, I was never outside. Like, I was
Targeting young black men. It's obvious. I mean, they are doing it, right? The incident on Avenue D and 9th Street, same deal, right? It's sad, right? It's low-hanging fruit. This is what's called shame. They're shamed. They're ashamed. They know they're doing wrong. The police know they're doing wrong. When they're following these orders, they know they're doing wrong, but they do it anyway, right? They have to. They have to. You know what the consequence of a cop not following orders? He's fired. He's out. He's disciplined. He's smeared, right? The order is the order. When you get those orders in the morning, if you walk out the door and you don't do it, they'll, even if it's corrupt, even if it's wrong, even if you don't believe in it, even if you step up and say, I don't want to do this, you have to do it, right? And that's just the reality of it. That is the reality of being a cop. That's what you sign up for.
Right? I was actually about to go home. Less than 5 seconds of being back in our community, I'm being harassed. Like, I just don't feel like there's nothing I could do. Like I said, I don't surround myself around negativity. There wasn't no weed in the car. It wasn't no alcohol. It wasn't nothing. I wasn't even talking to them outside. So when they hopped in the car and came back to the truck, it was just, I was confused because it's like, I just heard you tell my friend you could get in the car, go in the house, just be in front of the building. But now you pulling us over for what?
According to Miller, he and his friends were double parked on a Brooklyn street when the NYPD approached their vehicle on a traffic stop. Miller's friend, who was in the driver's seat, handed the officers his ID. When Miller, seated in the passenger seat, declined to hand ID, the arrest ensued.
I opened the door, but I didn't forcefully open the door. I just touched the handle, and I was opening the door as in I was about to get out the car. So he closed the door.
You got arrested for not handing ID over in the passenger seat. What are we being? You know, it's again. This is stop and frisk. This is stop and frisk in New York City. If you don't bow down to the police 100% and give them all your shit for doing nothing, what did I do? Tell me what I did. Oh, you're getting a summons for social distancing. Oh, here's my ID. So at the end of the story, right?
So then that's when I started recording on my phone. And as soon as I brought my phone up, he slashed my phone and then just starts punching me.
Footage captured by one of Miller's friends show an officer taunting the men for not social distancing and threatening them with $500 fines.
$500 fine. Social distance. $500 fine. So you need to move it.
6 feet.
Yes. So y'all need to move.
The video then shows
$500
the police
fine.
calling for backup, leading to the assault of Miller and his friends.
So you get the point. I didn't watch all of this. Let's see what else.
Get down. Get down. Get down, mother.
The situation was already bad when the two officers was on the scene. They couldn't handle the situation, or they, made the situation harder than what it be. But when they call backup, it's just even worse because you would think they come in to assist the issue in both favor, but they just come in to take one favor, and then you just left out for a lawyer to figure out what's really up with you. So this is messed up.
Sterling Price makes a good point about that cops profile long hair, white guys, and people with tattoos as well. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I'm just pointing out that in this city right now, the profiling does seem to be young black men. Again, it's sad, but that's the low-hanging fruit. If you didn't have those young, black, poor men, you would go after the long-hair white guys. I don't get bothered. I got long hair. But, again, it's the way you interact with them, right? I'm from New York. The cops are all New Yorkers. They're all, white guys from Brooklyn, Queens, and the Bronx. I talk to them, and they immediately know that you're not some schmuck hanging out in the park. You're doing your job, right? Whatever. But I see your point. I see your point that I'm not saying it's, those poor blacks. That's not what I'm saying at all. The poor blacks are getting harassed again. I'm saying that just let's look at the facts. Let's look at the facts. If you could see long hairs, getting harassed for social distancing, let me know. But right now, this is what we got to work with. Just follow.
Miller is an essential unionized worker and says he's never been arrested before. Following his arrest, he was released without explanation. Miller states that he was not defying the social distancing mandates and is currently working with a lawyer in hopes to pursue legal action after experiencing injuries due to the arrest.
I went to urgent care. They did x-rays. I had a contusion.
So this story is just sad, right? It's just a young, proper kid. He's driving in a car, and the police got this. I'm telling you what it is. They got the summons book. They got to write one of these summonses, man, to get on the good side of the sergeant. When they go back to that office and they wrote a social distancing ticket in car, Two young men sitting together, no masks, right? They don't care. They got the summons, right? They met their quota. They did their job. They followed orders, and they got that ticket. It was an easy ticket for them because why? It's two young black kids. No one will ever, they'll go to court and they'll be like, I don't know what the fuck, why the cops are looking, all that, right? Then they have no voice, right? Sadly, they have no voice. So that was an easy target for the police, sadly. That's how I would, if I was their lawyer, that's how I would say it. I said, how many tickets did you write today, officer? How many social distancing tickets did you write today? Or yesterday or the day before? Let's see the full record of how many social distancing tickets you've written and your squad as well. So Vinny DiMartini, motherfucker, brought this one to my attention. This is interesting by a guy named Craig Cunningham. This is somewhere I'm not really sure where this happens, where this is happening, but let's watch it anyway. It's two people. It's two cops are telling a mother that their child is walking away, is on neighbors' property and getting too close to the neighbors. Check this out.
Hi, Amy.
Hi.
I'm Deputy Everhart with the Sheriff's Department. So, are you aware that we're in a stay-at-home order right now?
Yeah, obviously.
By the government?
Yes, I am aware.
Okay, you're aware of that?
I am aware.
So
I have no idea where this is.
No, you don't need to explain that to
I
me.
can if you need me to.
Go. You can because your officer was just here 2 weeks ago.
Okay, do you need me
and
to explain
he explained it to me that you guys weren't enforcing that order.
Oh, we're about to.
Okay.
You understand it though?
Okay, so why are you here?
Because your daughter is going to play at other people's home and you're allowing it to happen.
They were over here as well. So are you here?
They've been talked to
okay.
about it. So
no, I understand. Okay.
And so either you can acknowledge it or you can argue.
I'm acknowledging it.
Okay, stop having your kid go by other people's home.
Okay, I acknowledge it. Anything else?
Stop having your kid go by other people's homes. Holy fucking shit. Holy shit. Stop having your kid go by other people's homes. Wow. Wow. I mean, just what kind of message are we sending the kids? You're infected, you're poisoned, you're a fucking floating coronavirus virus.
Nope, that was it. Apparently, there was some other.
I acknowledged it. I acknowledged it.
Good.
Anything else?
Yeah, I need your last name. Amy, what's your last name?
I'm not. Is there a reason you're asking for it?
I'm adding you to the screen so we can document that we had contact with you.
See, here's the deal about giving information, right? When the police ask for your information, it doesn't fucking matter, right? Unless you're a criminal, unless you just hand them the shit, hand it over to them. It doesn't matter. Don't engage them. Just let them do their job. It doesn't matter that they have your name. Who cares? It's better that they have your name because they're breaking the law and there's a video. You have video evidence and you give them the name and let your name be on the record. I don't understand why people, would resist that, right? Here's the other thing to know about the Parks Department. You absolutely do not have to give them anything. If they say if they're writing you a ticket and they say give me your ID, you give them the fucking go like this, right? Stick it right in their face and say fuck you and walk away. And there's nothing they can do. Now the police are different. They will tackle you and they will do all the things that they do. In a corrupt way to retain you, but peace officers generally you could walk away from them. But as I said earlier, I recommend that you don't do that at all. I recommend that you take the ticket, having done the job. I recommend that you just take the ticket because I just told you the secret. The secret is they're ECB tickets in New York. They're Environmental Control Board tickets. Very, very easy to beat. You take the ticket, you go down there, you say 6 feet. I don't know 6 feet. I didn't have a tape measure. The cop, where's the evidence that I was 6 feet near somebody? And the judge will say, oh, okay, maybe next time, and they rip it up and you're out the door. You're not even there 20 minutes. Been there many, many times. I've written those tickets, and I've fought those tickets. I've been on both sides of the tickets. So just take the ticket if you get it.
Is there a reason for it?
Yep, because you're violating a state order, which is a...
If you let me finish, that's what I'm explaining to you. Because you're violating...
They're embarrassed.
I haven't violated an order.
We're going to have documentation in our screen with your name because we're here talking to you about that you said you just acknowledged.
Okay.
So then there's documentation.
I would like to
of
see
who
the
we
law
spoke
that
to.
requires me to give you that information.
Duh.
Thank you.
What law?
Because I haven't,
What is your middle initial?
I don't believe that
My
I'm
middle
required to
initial
give
is
it.
go fuck
Are
yourself.
we done here?
No, we're not.
Okay.
Your middle initial and your last name.
I'm not giving it to you. I haven't done anything wrong.
Okay. Perfect. We got it.
Okay.
And that'll be documented too that you're uncooperative.
Okay.
This is my mini pre-show rant.
So this guy, I don't know who he is, but he says some good stuff. So let's watch a little bit of it. Thank you, Vinny DiMartini, for bringing this to my attention.
Just in case you're in law enforcement, what the fuck is wrong with you? Listen, I'm going to be really hard on this over the next until this whatever is done. Everyone's talking about the new norm that we're living in, and this cannot be the case. I keep seeing videos of cops. Listen, I know what the job is like. I know you don't like being challenged. I know that you have a problem with people questioning your authority, but your authority is given to you by the people. It's given to you by the Constitution. That badge means fucking shit. You started as a citizen. You became a law enforcement officer. One day you're going to retire. You're going to get fired. You're going to choose to resign, and you're going to go back to being one of the people. I can't believe, I'm reading some of the comments on some of the posts I'm putting up, and then people are forwarding me videos of cops with attitudes, citing people with face masks, and citing people who are going to church. This cannot be the new norm. And if you're in law enforcement, or even if you're a law enforcement supporter, and you have a problem, or you endorse people getting arrested or citing because of their attitudes or because they just should have listened, you're the fucking cancer and disease of law enforcement.
Now, I would agree with that, but again, it shows I got to say, it shows a little bit of a naiveness to the job itself. The job is follow orders. It's like the military. It's the same thing. You don't question the order. And if he was a cop, he would understand that, and he would know that the police are just following orders. If you don't like it, quit, which I did, or expose them, expose the corruption. In my case, a 10-ticket quota. Expose them. Go to the news and tell them, record them, film them, bring the evidence forward that they are breaking the law. But following orders, not following an order in a police situation, in a military situation, is grounds for discipline. Right? That's what it is. If you don't like the job, there's plenty of opportunity. The training is long. It's 6 months. And all along, you're offered the opportunity to drop out. They don't want you there. They're like, you don't want to follow our orders? Get the fuck out. There's the door. They don't hold you to it. Military is different, but police, you don't like it? Hit the door, right? Do what we tell you to do, or put your badge on the table and walk the fuck out. That's the training.
You need to get that through your head. Resign, get terminated. Do me a favor. Let me know where your department is, because I will fucking absolutely 100% contact your department to make sure that that's not the way that they're following policies and procedures. The reason being is not to rat you out, not to be a blue falcon, but because there are other men and women on that department who do the job righteously, that you, the cunt that you are, make them look horribly bad. This is the single greatest opportunity in the history of law enforcement for you to get your fucking heads out of your ass and do your job righteously. Righteously. Your job is to keep the peace and maintain order in a free society. It is not to generate revenue, and it is not to play mommy and daddy for people who want to take their kids to a park and play. Let them do what the fuck they want. If you don't...
I like what he's saying, but I fundamentally disagree. He doesn't have an understanding of how police force works. Remember, on the testimony of the cop in City Hall Park, he said it's the governor's order. You heard what he said. The governor's order. The governor is the top enforcement agent in the state. And the governor and the mayor, and it comes all the way down to the police chief, the police captains, and all the way down to the foot soldier. They are following orders. If you have a beef, your beef is with the governor. Your beef is with the governor. It's not even with the president anymore. Trump got out of the way, so let the states handle it. So your beef right now is with state governors.
don't think diseases and viruses have been around since the dawn of man. You're out of your mind, and for some strange reason, maybe that's why they take still 21-year-old dumbass rookies who are so eager to say yes sir just to get a badge, and you are perpetuating the bad taste people have for cops in their mouths. I cannot believe this is where law enforcement is right now. I hope this is not the case, but holy shit, keep saying, well, Izzo, this is why you're not in law enforcement anymore. Absolutely. Right. Because if this is what law enforcement is, I'm glad I'm not a part of this. I'm not one of you. I don't want to be associated with you, because when it comes down...
That's honest. That's honest right there. That's the reality of it. You're following totalitarian dictatorship orders. And if you don't want to be part of it, walk out. That's fine. That's fine. Protest, walk out. Once you leave, they're not going to come looking for you. They're going to come after you. Go to the press and tell them what you saw. Right? That's good. Defect, quit. But that $60,000, $70,000 a year job holds them in your place, man. You know, cop entry level, $60,000. They work up. Some of those white shirts, they're making $120,000 a year. Some of the captains sitting behind a desk, 120, 150. It's a lot of money.
Down time for me to choose a side, and it's either the men and women in blue who are upholding this bullshit laws and new village ordinances that are adopted and citing people and dispersing them from scenes. If it's you or them, I'm choosing them. I'm choosing them. And
That's a good point, man. I think the gist of that, I think the gist of this guy's argument is that if all police refuse to, write these stupid tickets, and all of them boycotted their orders, then you might have something to talk about. But I don't see it happening, because most police are kiss asses. Most police are psychologically profiled to be kiss asses. That's why they're picked. Guys like me, guys like people that with a voice. I squeaked through a sanitation enforcement agent thing because I was very quiet, and eventually they caught on to that I had an opinion, and I was kicked out. But in the police department, it's even more severe. Right? You won't get through if you're not willing to follow the order. And you're not willing to do exactly what they tell you to do, regardless, without question, then you probably won't get through the initial training, right? So the cops are to say that the police are suddenly going to flip is really, really wishful thinking. So when you see them out there with the cuffs and the bats and the horses, don't think that maybe someday they'll see the light and they'll join the people. Fucking hell no, man. They'll join the paycheck and they'll join the establishment.
Newark,
New Jersey.
Have begun enforcing the mayor's shelter-in-place order for the entire city. First up, residents congregating outside a convenience store right up the street from police headquarters. As the sirens blared, the crowd began to break up.
Have executive orders on social distancing. You're to remain 6 feet apart from each other for your health.
What we're trying to do is we're trying to save your life. We're not trying to arrest you. We're trying to give you a warning to get off the street, go inside, protect yourself.
The mayor announced the shelter-in-place order on Wednesday night. He says he's serious about it. So does the public safety director. On Thursday, one liquor store and its occupants learned that lesson the hard way.
Again, black dudes hanging out in front of a liquor store. Are they profiling people? Are they going for the low-hanging fruit? Yes.
Usually liquor stores draw a crowd to the front, some of them, not all of them. So there was a crowd, there's no social distancing.
Not in my neighborhood. There's nobody hanging out in front of the liquor store in my neighborhood. Right? That's in a low-income neighborhood, because they're also slinging other things. They're also selling things, or selling Lucy's and selling pot or whatever the fuck they're doing. Who cares? But they're outside in front of the store, right? They're hanging out. It's cheaper to drink in front of a liquor store than it is at a bar. That's why they're out front.
In front of it, inside, there was groups. So anything that the officers do observe like that, they're going to be summoned, given summonses to, and possibly shut down like we did today.
The mayor did away with those 3 hot zones of clusters of infections and quarantines because COVID-19 cases are rising in the city. He's ordered shelter-in-place except
see that shot right
19
there?
cases
Right there,
only.
right there. So they're in front of a liquor store. It's a bunch of brothers hanging out. They're leaning in and out of the car. They're probably slinging a little weed. They're a little too close together. Now, is that scene 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 people hanging out in front of a store? A lot of them are probably wearing masks. Is that any worse than what we see in the parks? People jammed together on picnic. You know, they're having picnics out in the grass. They're sitting on the mats. Right? They're sitting around hanging out with each other. Right? Is this any worse? No. But they're targeting them. Why? Because it's low-hanging fruit. You got to get that ticket. I'm telling you, man, that's what it is. You got to get that ticket. Let's go hang out. These guys are pricks anyway, right? These guys are all criminals anyway. They're not gonna challenge anybody. Bunch of pot dealers out in front of the liquor store. Let's go write them a ticket for social distancing. That's what it is. Maybe they'll pick up a pot summons. They'll pick up maybe a weapons summons. They'll pick up something else. Resisting arrest. They love that one. They get to tackle you, punch you in the face.
Rising in the city. He's ordered shelter in place except for going to work and getting essentials from grocery stores, pharmacies, and liquor stores, and for medical emergencies. One person shot police a double bird, another wearing rubber gloves mocked but said he was following orders.
They doing what they have to do, and I appreciate that. Some people can't stay at home because some people has to make a living. Some people has to work, but it's a good idea to stay home for those who do not work.
If we get 75% compliance, 80%, that means that's 80% less people that could contract this or spread this virus. You know, when it comes down to, you know, social disruption, people don't like it.
Public safety.
See, it's always the white shirts. When you see a white shirt in my neck of the woods, I don't know where you are, but white shirt means that they're a high official. They're either captain, they're lieutenant, captain, sergeant, captain, lieutenant, right, chief.
Director Ambrose says the department has given officers protective gear, told them to take most reports by phone to reduce contact, but still respond in person to domestic violence calls. He says more than a dozen officers and firefighters have tested positive for COVID-19, and more than 200 have been quarantined.
There's no interruption.
So if all the cops are testing positive and all the fire departments are testing positive for COVID-19, you notice that they're never social distancing. There's so much evidence out there that shows that you can film the police, and they're elbow to elbow, always. They're in their car together, two cops sitting in the car, no masks. They get out of the car, no masks, no gloves, no nothing, right? They're just, and who needs it, right? That's the point. But the irony of 2 cops sitting in a car together with no masks, getting out to arrest someone who's 6 feet to somebody else, it's retarded. The whole thing is just getting really fucked up. I didn't think it would come to this. I hope it, 2 weeks ago it wasn't the case. So, but now it is. Here's the evidence. Here's the situations now unfolding.
To public safety in the city.
But there's a major insistence for testing.
When you're in an airplane, they tell you, when the mask comes down, put your oxygen on first before you help somebody. Well, we should be tested because we're out here helping people. We can't help them.
All right. Now he's going to cry that he should be tested. Oh, poor police. All right, yeah, whatever. I don't know what this one is. This is another one. Right? So, coronavirus outbreak, protesters in California. Oh, this is California. Let's watch California. They did a good job. So, here we go. So, I don't think any summonses were given. Oh, yeah. This is the one where people were arrested, 32 people arrested for, you'll see the horses, right? Those horses are a motherfucker. They run those fucking horses over on people. Freedom is essential.
This year, because of the lockdown. So when you think about
just law-abiding citizens speaking out. Right? It's sad that in New York they shut it down so quickly, but here you go, right? Waving American flags. Pull out a tape measure. Are these cops 6 feet to each other? No, man. One of them's not wearing a mask. Sign's upside down, dude. Free our beaches. Free our bitches. I used to have a French girlfriend. She used to pronounce beach and bitch. She used to say, "Are we going to the bitch? You want to go to the bitch?" I was like, "Nah, I've had my share of bitches. I'll go to the beach." Latinos for Trump. So I think there's some. Oh yeah, here's the horse action. All right, so here you are. I guess it's Venice Beach. I don't know where it is. Santa Monica. Fuck. So this is the disgusting part, right? See how they use horses? The poor horses. They take the horse, and this is how they push the crowd back. Because a horse is a scary fucking animal, man. When the horse is like, I mean, they're beautiful and they're friendly, but when a horse starts getting nervous, it starts to snarl and right? And you got this big animal. You don't want to get kicked by the big animal. And you got the jerk off on top of the horse, pushing the animal to literally stomp people. Right? Horse is scary. Scary in riot control. I mean, you'll never see me at one of these things. I will be far enough away from billy clubs and helmets and cops writing tickets. What don't you understand about running and get away from it? And there's other ways to protest. Other ways to protest. Have a YouTube channel. Have guests on. There's boycotts, bank freeze, mortgage strike, rent strike, student loan strike. That's the way to go. That's the way to go. So more people protesting outside. I think we got one more to go. So that's what's going on, man. That's what's going on, man. Good morning, everybody in the chat. Thank you for joining me today. Marcus Conte in the morning. If you're not busy, do me a favor. Go over to marcusconte.com. If you're joining us late, whack around on my channel. Click on some buttons. Make sure everything is working right. Watch a movie there. Watch a video there. Check out some of my decals. Some of the archives are up. Archives. I got the playlists up. I got the tip jar there for you. I got the Patreon link. A free book if you want to read the free book. I got some of my photographs when I was on the bike riding around in empty New York. Some good stuff there, right? Thank you, man. Thank you very much. And what else is going on here? So data shows world rejecting governments shelter-in-place tyranny. You think? After what we just see, do you think that data shows world rejecting governments? I don't know. I don't know about that. What's your evidence? All right, people across the Western world, this is a Zero Hedge article. People across the Western world have already started to revolt against government enforcement lockdowns that have now continued for at least the 7th week in some places. All right. So, all right. Well, where's your evidence that people are feeling the itch? This is a touchy-feely article. I'll kill it here because this is stupid. There is really nothing to substantiate that. In the second half of April, Four Squares notes that foot traffic at various types of stores started to move higher. Okay. Fast food and gas stations, visits have returned. Men and generally people between ages 35 and 64 have shown more moderate declines across. This is a bullshit article. I apologize. It's just saying that it's insinuating that people are now coming back to reality because they're returning to the markets that they are rejecting government stay in shelter place. I don't know. I still haven't seen that in vast numbers. I was out on the streets Sunday. What's today? Today's Monday? Saturday. I wasn't out yesterday. I didn't go out on Sunday. Saturday, and what I did observe, I went out in Brooklyn on Sunday, and I have now been observing people coming out more. There's more people on the street. And, as I said, yesterday alone in one park, I saw 3 cop cars driving around. 3. Not one, not 3 with the red lights spinning around, coming down the walking path. I didn't say anything, right? I walked right by them, I didn't say anything. But so that's it's pretty crazy, man. So we're living in crazy times here. We're living in fucking shit is nuts, right? Do you ever think in your wildest dreams you'd be living through a shelter in place, a world where you and the people around you can't be close to the people around you, and that if you are too close, based on a fictitious, do we even need to talk about the fact that the virus itself is a hoax for the most part, that there's very millions of people infected, very small amount of death, no more so than the common flu, way less than cancer or diabetes or heart disease or any other disease, falling out of windows, suicides, there's more suicides, there's more drug overdoses, there's more, more violent crimes, killings, well, maybe not killings, but the point is that it doesn't justify it anymore. It's over. But see how law enforcement, once it gets into gear, once they go into motion, it's hard to stop it. That's the point. A couple of weeks ago, the police were like, "Fuck this." They probably didn't even have the code. They didn't even have the code yet to write the ticket if they were allowed to write it. Now they have it, and now they want to use it. They want to show the governor and show the mayor, the chiefs, not the foot soldiers, the chiefs that are pushing the foot soldiers to write the tickets. They want to get a pat on the back. They want to get a promotion, a raise, a favor. All right, so now they start to push this thing because they can write the tickets. And who else can write the tickets? Maybe they might hand it to sanitation. They might hand it to fire department. Might start coming around writing social distance tickets. They might parks already can do it. You saw the greens, the green parkies are now able to. Maybe they'll have traffic enforcement. You know how many traffic enforcement agents there are? It's thousands, like 20,000 of those guys. 20,000? It's actually, I don't know how many thousand, but they're in the thousands of traffic enforcement agents that just write traffic tickets. They write parking tickets. So what are you going to do? Give it to them too? Give them a code to write social distancing tickets? And those guys, they get punched in the face all the time. They're fucking morons. So, anyway, thanks for joining me today, Marcus Conte. Listen to some Tom Waits, the genius of Tom Waits. Yeah. Oh, I'm feeling it. Love this guy.
Some old red suits, bottom stand. Rain splashed the nickel and spilled like Chablis all along the midway. There's a little blue jay.
So thanks everybody for stopping by. Mike D in the house, no censorship in the house. Vinny DiMartini, thank you, Vinny DiMartini, for the fine moderation. If you got timed out, that's because you're a dick. It's not. Don't blame the moderators. It's because you're being a dick. Joe Dokes in the house. Martin Grafada. Martin Grafada. Bebop. Mike D. Sterling Price. My brother from a different mother in the house. Jason Walsh. Thanks, guys. JB, thank you. Bebop. Bebop. Thank you so much, man. Carol Hayes, thank you for being here. Carol Hayes. Thank Carol Hayes for being here. Thank all of you. Without you, I'm nobody. Minnesota gal, Miss Chicago. Minnesota gal, Miss Chicago. Yoga fish. Yogi fish, I like that. I like your name, man. Yogi fish. 2 days take. 2 days take. 2 days take. You guys are a freak, right? Tom Waits. Trippy.
Now the rain washes memories from the sidewalk, and the hounds splash the nickel full of soldiers. Santa Claus is drunk in a ski room.
All right, guys, peace out, man.
And it's Christmas Eve.
I'll be out there today, beyond the trail.
When the moon gets this way, there's a little blue jay by the newsstand. red shoes, red shoes. Met me tonight by the drugstore. Met me tonight by the drugstore. Gotta meet me tonight by the drugstore. Going out tonight, going out tonight, going out tonight, going out tonight, going out tonight with those red shoes, red shoes, red shoes. Wear your red shoes, baby. Going out tonight. Wear your red shoes. Going out tonight. Your red shoes.